Hello there everyone, lovers of the tarot, and well, here we have a happy full moon reading, tarot reading that I just made with a beautiful group of people who helped me really dive into the meanings of this card now, just live in this live share that we did. And I'm going to try to relate some of those stories back to you and see if we can't channel some coherent message that you can all relate to and take away something from. So we've got 4 cards for this reading, and the first card is this reverse 5 of Pentacles. So if you are familiar with this card or not, the 5 of Pentacles is the card which represents our, on many fronts, it represents our experience of unworthiness, and it's the unworthiness that's represented by these 2 figures that are both lame or a cripple and looking up to the 5 pentacles sitting in the what could be a church window, and this inherent unworthiness, or ignoring or thinking that we don't deserve to maybe go in the warm and we don't deserve to be there. And this card represents all the ways in our life that we experience lack, and all the ways that our attachment to the world keeps us away from the light, or keeps us away from spirit, or away from the church there, or the higher parts of ourselves. And this is a card which speaks about experience, and it speaks about how we train ourselves so much to think, or we are very well trained, let's say, to believe that we are this material, physical beings, which to a degree we definitely are. But we are also spirit. We are also connected to this universal consciousness. We are also connected to a higher vibrational experience, and we are beings of light, literally beings of light where the light has been refracted and contained and condensed so severely that we have persuaded ourselves that we are not light. And a consequence of this unconscious persuasion, or this belief that we are less than light beings, is that we feel unworthy. So basically just the identifying me with this body, with this persona, with this ego identity, the consequence of that ego identity means I'm going to feel not good enough in my life in some way or a shape or form. It means I'm going to feel a bit of lack. We all feel it. Everybody will feel it. We'll manifest ourselves in different ways. Sometimes we'll shine, and sometimes we'll feel like bright lights, and sometimes we'll feel like high vibrational beings, but we'll usually come back over and over again to this experience of not feeling enough in some way. And it might be the world that's not enough around us, but in one way or another we're not manifesting enough, or we're not being enough. The reverse of this card speaks about how this quality of unworthiness, or this pattern of buying into the material version and only the material version of me, we're not even aware of, or we don't even challenge, or we might not even really acknowledge how uncomfortable it is, or how much we are crippling ourselves with the belief in the limited version of who we are. So just because we believe that this manifestation is all that I am, this belief itself harms us or makes us a victim to that mentality. So we, from that moment on, become a victim to the idea that we are limited creators. And this is the beginning or the base of all victim mentalities, of all poverty mentality. And yet it's quite comfortable, or at least we've persuaded ourselves that we are comfortable. And in our session with the group I just did, there was this metaphor of sitting on a sofa and feeling comfortable. We don't want to get up and change, and fives are all about change and all about movement and transformation, but we're quite comfortable being limited versions of ourselves. We have got used to it. It's become the status quo. Everybody else seems to be more or less comfortable with their limited versions of themselves. So I would say I'm doing a pretty good job at being comfortable being me. And this is this is what we don't see. This quality of being comfortable in very limited versions of ourselves means that we don't change. We don't change, or we don't look for shifts. We don't look to be or do anything different, and consequently we don't challenge ourselves. We don't challenge our identity. And this card being reversed is asking us to say, hey, do you feel tuned in with your heart, tuned in with your higher self, tuned in with your higher vibrational reality? Do you feel one with your potential? Because these types of questions may well allow us to own the victim mentality, the self-victimizing handicapping of our own creative strengths and gifts. We have to own something. We have to realize that we are handicapped, or we are crippled versions of ourselves through our beliefs, in order to move from those beliefs, or change those beliefs. The next three cards are these three. First, and this is a reading of Pentacles. So first is the 3, then there's the 7 of Pentacles, and the last one is the reverse 10 of Swords. So we have the 3, the 5 reversed, the 7, and then the 10 of Swords. And these 3 cards complete this reading. This card speaks about a creative collaboration that we make with inner parts of ourselves as well as the outer world. And it's a creative collaboration where we might say to ourselves, come on, let's go and create. And interestingly, there's a church being built here, or maybe some holy structure being built here. And maybe it's that church that's in the 5 that we don't feel worthy of visiting, or moving out of the cold and sheltering ourselves in the warmth. Here, this is the creative ability to build the church inside of ourselves. And yet this is related quite often to the building of something outside of ourselves, because we're so convinced that this material world is all there is for us to experience, and is the most important thing for us to experience, and in a way it is. But we're so convinced in the materiality or the 3D nature of ourselves in this world that we don't look to create anything higher. This is the collaboration that's saying, hey, you can create something higher. And there's always the importance made in the doing, in the actual getting up off your ass and being willing to move into action. But then you get this card, which is the 7, which says, yeah, we've done the action and we've created this field full of wonderful harvest that's so abundant it's falling off the bush and falling at our feet. And yet this is not what we're actually, doesn't give us a sense of fulfillment that actually takes away this unworthiness that we have chosen to own or chosen to see or allowed ourselves to acknowledge. So hang on a minute. If I feel this emptiness, this lack, this not good enough, and then I work really hard maybe in collaboration with other people with a higher intention, and we actually get some great fruit, and when we look at all the achievements that we've made, and we get this sense of satisfaction that lasts about 5 minutes, and then we say to ourselves, oh, this doesn't actually feed me or excite me or take away from this inherent feeling of unworthiness. I still feel it. It's still in the background. Yes, okay, I feel empowered for a moment or two as I get a little bit of praise for my achievements, and hey, and we get a lovely dinner to eat for all of our harvest. Isn't that fantastic? But then we got to start again. And then we've got to start again creating and making more and achieving more and having these goal-setting stories. And the goals are all material goals as well. And we repeat the cycle. And it's a cycle that keeps us or gives us this false sensation of safety and comfort sitting on the sofa. And we're not willing to get up and make a change. We're not willing to decide to do something differently. We're not really willing to maybe not confront, but face the real source of our emptiness or unworthiness. Because if we face the real source of our unworthiness, we'll realize it lies within the belief that we are separate from life. And I share this metaphor. It's like we're the fruit of the tree, and we're the fruit of the tree that we're so into ourselves that we just think this one fruit is me. We have forgotten how connected we are to the tree. We've forgotten that we and the tree are one. We've forgotten that the tree made us and grew us, and that we are just a reflection of that tree and the potential and the creative potential of it. We're so caught up in being a fruit that we forget our connection to the divine or to the oneness or to the tree itself. And everybody is a bunch of fruit running around thinking that we're quite special, because in a way the fruit is quite special. It's quite juicy and beautiful. But its worth is in how connected to the tree it is. And its purpose is in how connected to the forest it is, or how connected to that one root system that allows it to mature properly and to fall down on the ground and then maybe grow into a tree. And this last card, the 10 of Swords, speaks more about the cure for our insecurity, the cure for our self-crippling beliefs, the cure for our victim mentalities, and the cure for our unworthiness lies in our ability to let go of who we are not. It means letting go of the sofa that's really comfortable and getting up and moving on. It means dropping habits, dropping mindsets that tell you you're not wonderful, beautiful, the divine spark of life. It's about letting go of the idea that you are this ego individual entity running around in this suit of a body. It's very difficult to let go of those beliefs, but it's only in dropping the idea that I am this fruit that I'll experience myself to be the tree. That me and the tree can only become one, that I can only feel whole and feel worthy the moment I drop the identity of being an individual fruit. Not that I'm not an individual fruit, but that's not my entirety. That's just an aspect of the tree. And I am just a creative aspect of a greater tree. And the only real solution to our unworthy victim crippling mentality is letting our mind die, not fighting to hold on to those beliefs because they're so powerful, and look what we can create, and we can have all of this garden and forest, and we can create all these amazing things, and none of them will be truly satisfying. None of them will fulfill us to our hearts, because our heart is that simple vibrational resonance of the tree, and we can only tune into it, touch it, feel it, experience it once we drop the belief that we're the fruit. I hope this relates in some way. I've been having a lovely mundane week and been judging myself a little bit because of it. So this is a great reading for me, and recognizing that it's all about what we can let go of, and what ideas and belief we can allow to leave and drop and die within ourselves, so that we can just be. We don't have to go and fight and strive to create the wonderful person that is me so that I can be the enlightened version of myself. We just need to stop being so attached to a version of ourselves which holds us back from experiencing our truest and highest vibrational potential. Much love to you all. Have a wonderful full moon. Love to hear your comments.